Now, one quick thing we do have to mention before you upgrade is you're going to want to uninstall your AMD drivers. If you're going with the upgrade we suggested in RTX 4070, you will need to download DDU, which we'll leave a link in the description down below. As you can see on screen, you open up the file, be sure to select a GPU as the driver you're uninstalling and hit clean and restart for AMD GPUs. And then once it restarts, shut down your computer and you'll be good to upgrade.
So as we talked about, we built this PC for the mindset of upgrading in the future. So we could upgrade just the CPU or just the GPU, but we think it is important to actually keep a good balance. Right now, that i3 the 6600 is a perfect pairing, very minimal bottlenecking. If we just throw in this i5, you're probably gonna have a lot of bottlenecking. And if you just throw in the 4070, you're gonna have a lot of bottlenecking. So we're doing both.
So what Jackson's gonna do is show you guys the CPU we chose, which we think is a really good option for this system in terms of ease of upgradability and getting good performance. And he's gonna show you exactly how to upgrade it. And then I'm gonna show you about this graphics card, the 4070, which I think is the perfect option for this build, and we'll tell you why.
So one of the reasons why we went with the 13400F is because it's latest and greatest 13th gen, and it has the efficiency and performance cores. This means it's a 10-core 16-thread versus a 4-core 8-thread in the computer currently. And then there's one other major reason for choosing this, and that's the fact that this is pretty much the highest end CPU you can get from Intel that'll still use a stock cooler without overheating. But yes, it is going to run hotter, but we didn't want to have to get into all the logistics of adding an aftermarket cooler to keep things simple. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the PC on its side to do this upgrade. It should only take us about 5 minutes, so let's do it. All right, so for this upgrade, it's going to be pretty easy, guys. Just follow along. We're basically going to need to loosen the stock cooler, and to do that, you might be able to use your fingers, but I kind of find it a little bit easier to take something like needle nose pliers, or a flathead would work as well, and just twist each one of those. You should hear like a, kind of like a little click, just like that one there. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but just like that. There we go. That one you can kind of hear. And we just twist them for now. You don't need to pull them up just yet. We'll pull them all up at once. So usually you can kind of halfway twist it and then use your finger for the rest, just like that. Just hold down on the cooler, pull each one of these up, and then we're gonna unplug the CPU 4-pin, and boom, we got all of them off at once. So now what I'm gonna do is pull our i5 out. Now this i5 is, as I said earlier, about the best you can really do with the stock cooler, and even then, you know, it's kind of pushing it, but it'll be fine. So here's our i5 13400F. I'm not going to use the new stock cooler because that'd just be a waste. You know, it has nice thermal paste already on it, and these you can sell for about $15 to $20 on eBay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the old thermal paste off. We're going to be using some alcohol prep pads. These are for like medical use, but you can also just use like isopropyl alcohol. You can use acetone, or even like nail polish remover will work. But just get it nice and clean. This stuff will evaporate on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off. It's a lot better cleaning the CPU while it's in there socketed, because honestly, thermal paste really makes a mess and it kind of stains stuff. We're going to pull our i3 out. So same way as we put it in, pretty much reverse installation. Be really careful on this part. I can't tell you how many motherboards we've gotten with bent pins because people just aren't careful. You just got to grab both sides like this and then slowly pull it straight out. Don't wiggle it, don't push down or anything, just pull it straight up and out the best you can so that you don't risk bending pins. We're gonna go ahead and install our i5 now. All right, so here's our 13400F. I got thermal paste on my fingies. This isn't good, guys. But we're gonna line up the arrow just like we did before. I normally actually just look at the notches even, because it can literally only go in one way. And just like before, drop it in, make sure that it looks like it's lined up, looks good. And now, just like this, latched. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and put a new bead of thermal paste. Since these CPUs aren't square, they're kind of long, I like to do the thermal paste in like a long, skinny line, essentially. Just about like that, and that should do plenty of coverage. So I'm gonna run the cable underneath like before, but before I put this in here to make things easier, I'm gonna go ahead and twist these back to the locking position. So you just twist, don't push down though, because if you push down, it's gonna lock the pins in. But you notice how the pins are all nice and skinny right now. They're not spread yet. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I'm holding that cable in place so that it doesn't get in between the CPU and the cooler. All right, and so now these are all in the locking position. I'm gonna do opposing corners. You should hear nice clicks with each one. And then just kind of, just make sure all of them are down good. You can always take the back plate or the back panel off, and then you can still see the back of the motherboard typically, but these all feel nice and good to me. They shouldn't feel loose. So now I'm gonna plug our 4-pin back in. So as I said before, you can kind of confirm that your cable's not pinched by doing this. You should be able to move the cable back and forth just fine. If it's pinched anywhere, this cable will be really stiff and won't be able to move, and there's a good chance you're not making good contact. So now that we got that done, it's pretty easy, guys. Let's go do that graphics card.
All right, now for the graphics card upgrade. This is the RTX 4070. Now, before you go on and be like, ooh, the 4070, that's such a weird card. The reason this card makes sense is one, it is a substantial upgrade over the 6600, and two, if we're playing this out a year from now, I can imagine this card being quite affordable, especially on the used market, or just in general with just price reductions that happen over time with graphics cards. And also it's incredibly power efficient, so it worked very well with that 600 watt power supply. And I think, we'll see which model we have right here, a lot of them just require an 8-pin power, which means we literally just have to unplug that one, put a new graphics card in, and plug in the same cable we were using for the 6600. So let's go ahead and pull this one out. This is a Gigabyte 3 fan model. We do have 12 gigs of VRAM with this graphics card versus 8, so we'll be much better for games like Starfield and Cyberpunk, which we will be rerunning those tests, by the way, to show you guys the difference after upgrading. And we'll verify, yeah, look at that. See, it uses a single 8-pin connector, so this is gonna be a very, very easy upgrade. So, make sure to take off your little cover right here. Now your GPU is ready to go. We're gonna take out the existing 6600, which we do recommend, by the way. Sell that thing. If you're gonna upgrade to this graphics card, sell that thing on eBay, get yourself some money, and offset the cost of the upgrade. It's a really good idea to, well, make the upgrade much more worth it. So first step, we're gonna unplug the PCI power, the 8-pin right here, and just put it off to the side because, again, we are gonna need it to plug up to the new RTX 4070. So we're gonna put that off over there. Next step is we're going to open up this PCI cover shield. Again, we're gonna unscrew it right here. And we're gonna do the reverse of how we put this thing in. We're going to unscrew. You see this little clip right here? This is what's holding in the PCI slot into the motherboard. We're gonna go ahead and push it back. And then from there, pull the graphics card out. And look at that. Our 6600 is good to go. It looks like it hasn't been in there very long because it hasn't. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the RTX 4070. You get DLSS and all the fun features that NVIDIA cards have to offer. So you can get live streaming as well if you want to with this system. Not to say that in its old configuration you couldn't, but this is gonna be an even better step up. Same deal, we're gonna go ahead and line up the graphics card with the top slot, push that in, and then we'll go ahead, you know what, we'll do it this way. We'll go ahead and plug up the 8-pin power, and then we'll take our screws here and go back and do the same thing. Make sure it's lining up properly so you can easily screw them in. And then there's that one. Nice. So yeah, look at that. The GPU is installed, the CPU is installed, and we have upgraded this thing to a crazy 1440p ready gaming PC. We will run the benchmarks at 1080p again because we want to compare to the previous system in Cyberpunk and Starfield, but just know, with this CPU and GPU combo, 1440p gaming is very accessible. So let's go ahead and show some benchmarks of this PC now that it's upgraded, and then wrap this video up and let you all know how you can build this PC yourself by using those links down below.